On the agenda here in Strasbourg, and that's the EU budget. We pay into this budget and we draw down funds in a hugely significant way. So here's a reminder of how it works. This 7-year EU budget of over €1 trillion might sound remote, but as it affects all our pockets, it's worth remembering exactly how much Ireland puts into the EU pot. This year, Ireland is expected to pay €2.7 billion into the EU budget, more than double what we paid 5 years ago. And this could rise by an additional €400 million a year as a result of the UK's departure from the EU. Ireland is now a net contributor to the EU, a long way from 1993 when Albert Reynolds famously secured £8 billion punts in structural funds, which was to help bring our then struggling economy up to the strength of other member states. We don't get structural funds anymore, but we do still benefit from EU funds in a myriad of ways, most notably cap payments to farmers, rural development funds, but also grants for businesses, research scientists and students. But with the UK heading out of the EU and leaving a hole in the contributions, the European Commission says there will be cuts.
If a big net contributor, if a big economy like the UK leaves the EU, it is a game changer. You cannot simply pretend that all of the programmes are going to be exactly the same, plus a few extra tasks, plus a few extra priorities with more investment. So that's why we have limited cutbacks without damaging cohesion and agriculture. Those are our two biggest programmes, but cuts aren't necessary. Anything else simply is just not realism.
Sinn Féin's Leonie Reida is one of 9 MEPs negotiating on behalf of Parliament.
It's going to be quite tricky because obviously we have Brexit. So the big ticket items for people at home and what people need to know is we're going to see serious cuts in CAP. This is something I flagged up a long time ago, being in the Budgets Committee. And now the Commission have massaged the figures. So they have been saying that it's only going to be a 5% cut. We now know that it's going to be a lot more than that. It could be anything up to 15% cut once you take the UK out of the equation. We're also going to see cuts to cohesion policy. So it's not good. And the other big issue, I suppose, for Irish people in particular that's of concern is the amount of money that we're going to be spending on a militarised Europe. It's going to be a military union. I think it's something along the lines of 25 billion on military expenditure on guarding the coastline.